Welcome back to today's episode of Hello, It's Better to Talk. Today I'm going to be talking about my breast cancer and one of the chapters in the book, which is where I wake up in the recovery room after an 8.5 hour operation. You know, this book, the title, No Place to Lie, works in so many ways, and that was certainly not a place where I was expecting to lie. But I want to tell you about what happened and how it's really important that you do go and get your tests. Hello, my name's Helen Garlick. For 35 years, I was a family lawyer and mediator, but I kept secret what was happening in my own family of origin. Now I know it's time to talk about it. So I'd like to warmly welcome you to Hello, It's Better to Talk. So back on the 4th of January 2016, I had a routine mammogram booked in Kentish Town, and it was just like I was just coming back after work and after the holiday and New Year, and I really, really didn't want to go. And it was the first time I was going to have a mammogram for years. Somehow I managed to slip through the cracks of the system. I'd moved a number of times, and so I hadn't had a mammogram for a few years, and there was nothing wrong. I mean, I was a bit tired, but didn't feel like there was anything wrong. But thank goodness, that day I decided that I would go ahead, and I turned up for the mammogram, had the mammogram. Yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable, but it's not the end of the world. And then I got a call inviting me to come for some more tests. Nothing to worry about at all, but just come along for some more tests, and then more tests, and then we ultimately found that there were two, what they called masses. Nobody ever mentioned the C word at that time, that needed to be removed. And I had actually no idea this was going to happen at all. Luckily, I brought along a friend, May Thahla, my Burmese friend from years ago, and she came along to that, and thank goodness she was there. Although I can remember the surgeon saying that these masses, and then May saying, "You mean she's got breast cancer?" And the surgeon going, yes. And I went, "Oh my God." And May was going, "Oh my God, you've got breast cancer." So, but it was good to kind of talk about it, have somebody there, start thinking through the options. And I was offered, so I was going to have a mastectomy quite quickly. I had another little operation to check whether or not this had got into my lymph nodes, and luckily it hadn't. But I was offered the opportunity of either having just a mastectomy or an artificial reconstruction, or a reconstruction from material made from my tummy. So I was talking to some friends about this, and they said, "Oh, that's amazing, Hannah. You get to have a tummy tuck as well as a breast cancer operation," which had an appeal. But I talked it through with my daughters, and they were saying, "Well, Mum, yes, you've been divorced from Dad, but you may in the future want to have another relationship. You might want to think about that." And then there was something that the surgeon said, which is actually very convincing, which is that if you have a reconstruction using your own breast tissue, then all your body ages at the same time. And we've got these amazing things that we can do to actually make it look like you've got a nipple, and actually somebody may never know the difference at a superficial look, and it'll feel like you. So I decided to opt for that. It is not an easy operation. It's 8.5 hours in total. So breast removal and the reconstruction is a big jobby. They had to cut out part of my rib, take out the tummy, part of the tummy, and then move veins and all sorts of material into the boob. And it's called a skin sparing operation, and they call the new thing a flap, because it's taken from a flap of your tummy and comes up here. So when I was in hospital, people kind of would come in and say, "Would it be okay if we looked at the flap?" So I kept saying, "Well, actually, it's my left breast." So I claimed it as my own right from the beginning. But when I woke up in the recovery room, there was this funny thing that happened, because I could hear people in the background saying, "Yes, well, one of the people that we've got is that the operation hasn't worked and she's going to have to go back into theatre." And my paranoid self was thinking, that's me. That's me. I'm going to have to, this operation hasn't worked. I'm going to have to go back into theatre. I'm going to have to go through all of this again. Am I mad? I'm jeopardising my life. Da, da, da. But this time, it was just the paranoid side of me. I was very lucky. I got through the operation fine. And I just last week had the all clear that I've had 5 years worth of other mammograms, which show that I'm completely in the clear. So I wanted to just share with you some things that I learned about the importance of how you deal with this. Because again, we can so often go into shock. And then what do we do? Well, sometimes we go back and go, right, well, I'm just going to power on and pretend that nothing has happened. And I'm going to do exactly the same in my life that I've done before. I learned from a group of women who do yoga at Bart's Hospital that is not the way. One of them said to me, when you get cancer, it's like a teacher that something has not been right in your life before. And the people that we've seen them come and go over the years, the ones who say, I'm just going to do a stiff upper lip and I'm going to get back on, have my life exactly as it was, they're very often the ones who actually don't make it. So I would encourage you to think about if there's anything that you need to do in your life to change things, to look after yourself better. Ultimately, I gave up drinking, and there is a big connection between booze and breast cancer. Sorry about that, but there is. I also eat better, lots of plant-based food nowadays, which I know gives me a much better chance. So, that's why I've had the 5 years. But I just want to tell you this really funny thing as well. So I have had, sorry, hello, it's better to talk, so I'm going to do this. I have had a nipple then made on me, and so I have a nipple tattoo now. So if I actually have a tattoo, I don't have a tattoo on any other part of my body, but I've got a nipple tattoo. And when they do the nipple tattoo, the funny thing is that you feel it in your tummy from where that skin came. So it's the most bizarre sensation, having a tattoo done here, but actually you feel it down there. Anyway, for what it's worth. Hello, it's better to talk. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to this episode. I think it is better to talk about this. I hope that women will share their experiences more about breast cancer so that other women can make their decisions, whether to go flat, which is a great choice too, or to have a reconstruction. I just wanted to share you an insight into mine. Thank you. Love and light, and I look forward to seeing you next week.